Welcome, everyone. Before we get going, it's a fun idea if you let us know where you're listening from. Cheers. Please like and subscribe. Let's relax and start. I stumble into the house after a wild night out. The buzz from the drinks and the thrill of the evening still pulse through me. My name is Jake. I'm a successful lawyer in my mid-30s, married to Lisa for 5 years. We've had our ups and downs, but I've always thought our marriage was solid. Lisa and I met at a friend's party. She was vivacious and full of life, her laughter infectious. We quickly fell in love, and our wedding was a beautiful affair. We've built a comfortable life together, though recently we've hit a rough patch. Work keeps me busy, and Lisa has been spending more time with her friends. Despite this, I believe we were okay. My father, a retired cop, has always been my rock. He's the one I turn to for advice and support. We've shared countless beers on his porch, discussing everything from work to life. He's always been proud of my accomplishments, both in my career and personal life. Tonight, the house is eerily quiet. I kick off my shoes and head to the living room, expecting to see Lisa. Instead, I find my dad sitting in front of a laptop. His face is pale, his jaw tight. This is not the usual calm demeanor I know. "Dad, what are you doing here?" I ask, confusion mingling with the residual alcohol fogging my brain. He looks up at me, eyes filled with a mix of anger and sorrow. He doesn't say anything at first, just motions towards the laptop. My heart starts to race as I step closer. On the screen is a video. My stomach churns as I recognize the setting, our bedroom. Lisa is there, but she's not alone. Two guys from her girls' party are with her, their hands and mouths all over her. The scene is explicit, raw, and undeniable. "No," I whisper, shaking my head. "This can't be real." My dad's voice is low, filled with disappointment. "Jake, she shamed our family. Your husband left these." He hands me a stack of papers, divorce papers. "He wanted you to see this before you signed." I feel like I've been punched in the gut. My hands tremble as I take the papers, my eyes flicking back to the screen. The video keeps playing, a cruel loop that I can't escape. My thoughts are a chaotic mess. Anger, betrayal, and heartbreak collide within me. "How long have you known?" I manage to ask, my voice hoarse. "Just found out tonight," he replies, his tone heavy with regret. "Jake, I'm so sorry." I sink into a chair, staring at the laptop. Lisa's laughter from the video feels like a knife twisting in my heart. The woman I thought I knew, the life I thought I had, crumbles before me. Everything seemed ordinary when I walked into the house tonight, but now my world has been completely upended. The realization hits me hard. Nothing will ever be the same again. My dad looks up, disappointment etched into his features. His eyes, usually so steady and reassuring, now burn with hurt and disbelief. "Jake," he begins, his voice steady but low. "Lisa has shamed our family. Your husband left these." He hands me the divorce papers. They feel heavy in my hands, like a lead weight pulling me down. I feel a mix of betrayal, anger, and heartbreak. The video of Lisa with those guys keeps replaying in my mind. My hands tremble as I hold the papers. "Why, Dad? How could she do this to us?" He shakes his head, his face lined with sorrow. "I don't know, son. I just don't know." I feel my world crumbling. Everything I've worked for, everything I believed in, seems meaningless. I need to confront Lisa. I need answers. My dad's presence is a comfort, but it's also a reminder of the deep betrayal. I leave the house, my mind racing. The drive to our apartment feels like a blur. When I get there, Lisa is sitting on the couch, her eyes red from crying. "Jake," she says, her voice trembling, "I can explain." "Explain," I shout, the fury boiling over. "Explain what, Lisa? How you betrayed me? How you threw away everything we had for what?" "A thrill?" Tears stream down her face. "It wasn't like that. I was drunk. It was a mistake. A terrible mistake." I feel a coldness settle over me. "A mistake? This was more than a mistake, Lisa. This was a betrayal of everything we built together." She sobs, her shoulders shaking. "Please, Jake, you have to believe me. I love you. It was a moment of weakness." The trust is shattered. Her words seem hollow, empty. I turn away, needing space to think. I can't do this right now. I need to be alone. I leave, the divorce papers still in my hand. As I walk through the city, I think about everything that's happened. The betrayal, the shame, the hurt. I can't believe this is my life now. I find myself at a bar, drowning my sorrows in whiskey. The alcohol burns, but it's nothing compared to the pain in my chest. I start looking for ways to deal with this mess. But as the days pass, I realize the situation is more complicated than I initially thought. Lisa's actions have deeper implications, affecting both our personal and professional lives. Colleagues whisper behind my back, and clients start questioning my reliability. The scandal follows me everywhere. One night as I sit in my office, buried in work, my phone buzzes. It's a message from an unknown number. You think the video was bad? There's more where that came from. My heart races. I can't believe this is happening. I call the number, but it goes straight to voicemail. I feel a growing sense of dread. Who is doing this? And why? I confront Lisa again, desperate for answers. Who did you get involved with, Lisa? Who's behind this? She looks terrified. I don't know, Jake. I swear. It was just a stupid party. I didn't think. That's the problem, I snap. You didn't think. I start digging, trying to piece together the puzzle. The more I uncover, the more I realize Lisa's infidelity isn't an isolated incident. She's been living a double life, and her actions have put us both in jeopardy. Financial troubles, blackmail, and a looming trial add layers of complexity. I reach out to my contacts, trying to get to the bottom of this. One name keeps coming up. Mark Thompson, a former client of mine, a dangerous man with a grudge. The pieces start to fall into place. Thompson has been using Lisa to get to me. I feel a surge of anger. I need to confront Thompson, but I also need to be careful. This man is dangerous. I gather evidence, building my case. The trial is imminent, and I know I must confront both Lisa and Thompson in court. The tension hits its peak as I prepare for the trial. The courtroom drama unfolds with intense cross-examinations and shocking revelations. Lisa's betrayal is laid bare, and I have to keep my composure while exposing the truth. Despite the chaos, I find the strength to continue the fight. The day of the trial arrives. The courtroom is packed, the air thick with anticipation. I stand facing the judge, my heart pounding in my chest. Your Honor, I begin, my voice steady. I will prove that my wife's actions were part of a larger scheme orchestrated by Mark Thompson. The prosecution presents their case, trying to paint me as a neglectful husband, but I stay focused, presenting my evidence meticulously. I call Lisa to the stand, watching her walk up with trepidation. Lisa, I say, tell the court about your involvement with Mark Thompson. She glances at Thompson, who sits smirking in the back of the courtroom. Her voice is barely above a whisper. He threatened me, Jake. He said he'd ruin you if I didn't do what he wanted. My anger flares, but I keep it in check. And what did he want? To destroy you, she admits, tears streaming down her face. He wanted revenge. The courtroom murmurs, and I feel a sense of validation. The truth is out. Thompson's plan is exposed, but it's not over yet. I still need to prove my innocence and protect my family. I cross-examine Thompson, who arrogantly denies everything. You're lying, I say, my voice sharp. I have evidence linking you to the blackmail and financial fraud. I present the documents, the text messages, the recordings. The jury's eyes widen as the evidence mounts. Thompson's smug demeanor falters, and he glares at me with hatred. The judge calls for a recess, and I step outside, taking a deep breath. My father joins me, his hand on my shoulder. You're doing great, Jake. Keep it up. I nod, feeling a renewed sense of determination. This isn't just about me anymore. It's about justice, about protecting those I love. The trial resumes, and I deliver my closing argument. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, I say, this case isn't just about infidelity. It's about manipulation, blackmail, and a man's desperate attempt to destroy my life. I ask you to see the truth and deliver justice. The jury deliberates, and I wait, the tension unbearable. Finally, they return with their verdict. We find the defendant, Mark Thompson, guilty on all charges. Relief floods through me. The judge hands down a harsh sentence, and I feel a weight lift off my shoulders. But the aftermath is bittersweet. Lisa is charged with conspiracy, and I must deal with the fallout of the trial on my career and personal life. I begin to restore my life, taking steps to rebuild my reputation and mend relationships. My father supports me, and I start to see a glimmer of hope for the future. I focus on healing, on moving forward. The experience has changed me, but I am stronger and more determined to live a fulfilling life. Lisa and I have one last conversation. She admits her mistakes, and I express my pain and anger. It's a step towards closure, towards moving on. As I reflect on the events that transpired, I realize that the challenges I faced have made me stronger. The story comes full circle as I find peace and closure. I hint at the possibilities of new beginnings, perhaps a new love, or a fresh start in my career. The future is uncertain but filled with promise. The story concludes with a sense of hope and resilience, leaving the door open for new adventures and a brighter future. I bury myself in work, but the scandal follows me. Whispers fill the office corridors, and I catch colleagues' sideways glances. The video is out there, shared and reshared. Clients call, expressing concern. They question my reliability. I feel the walls closing in. I sit at my desk, staring at the divorce papers. The betrayal stings, but I need to focus. I dive into my cases, hoping the distraction will help. It doesn't. Every email, every call, feels like a reminder of Lisa's infidelity. My once unshakable reputation is now on shaky ground. Days blend into weeks. I discover that Lisa's infidelity isn't an isolated incident. She's been living a double life. Credit card statements reveal lavish expenses I can't explain. I find messages on her phone, conversations with someone named Mark. The pieces start to fit together. One evening, I confront her. "Who is Mark, Lisa? What have you been doing?" She looks away, guilt etched on her face. He's a client." "A client?" I laugh bitterly. "You're lying. You've been using our money, hiding things from me. What the hell is going on?" Tears well up in her eyes. I got in over my head. "Mark, he promised things. I thought I could handle it." "Handle what? Cheating on me? Destroying our lives?" My voice rises, echoing through the apartment. She breaks down, sobbing. "It wasn't supposed to be like this. He blackmailed me. I didn't know how to get out." Blackmail. The word hangs heavy in the air. My anger simmers, replaced by a cold determination. I need to know more. I dig deeper, tracing financial records and phone logs. Mark Thompson, a name from my past, keeps popping up. A former client, a dangerous man with a grudge. I meet with an old friend, John, a private investigator. "I need your help, John. I need to know everything about Mark Thompson." John nods, understanding the urgency. "I'll get on it, Jake. But be careful. This guy's bad news." Days later, John calls. "Jake, it's worse than we thought. Mark's been using Lisa to get to you. He's involved in some serious stuff. Financial fraud, blackmail, you name it." The news hits hard. I realize Lisa's actions have put us both in jeopardy. Financial troubles mount, and the threat of blackmail looms large. The situation is spiraling out of control. I feel like I'm drowning, barely keeping my head above water. One night, as I sit in my office, my phone buzzes. Another message from the unknown number. "You're in deeper than you know. Walk away, or it gets worse." Fear grips me, but I can't back down. I need to confront Mark. I arrange a meeting at a secluded cafe, hoping to catch him off guard. Mark sits across from me, a smug smile on his face. "Jake, long time no see." "Cut the crap, Mark. What do you want?" He leans back, his eyes cold. "I want you to suffer. You ruined my life, and now I'm ruining yours." I feel a surge of anger. "This ends now, Mark. You're going down for this." He laughs, a chilling sound. "Good luck with that. You're already drowning. I just have to push you under." I leave, my mind racing. Mark is dangerous, but I can't give up. I need to protect myself, my family. I gather evidence, working tirelessly to build a case against him. The trial looms and the pressure mounts. The courtroom is packed on the day of the trial. The air is thick with tension. I take a deep breath, ready to face this head on. My father's words echo in my mind. Stay strong, Jake. You've got this. The prosecution tries to paint me as negligent, a man whose personal life has bled into his professional one, but I stay focused. I present my evidence meticulously, piece by piece, dismantling their case. Lisa takes the stand. Her testimony is crucial. She looks fragile, but determined. Mark manipulated me. He threatened me, said he'd ruin Jake if I didn't comply. Her words resonate in the courtroom. The jury listens intently. I feel a glimmer of hope. Next, Mark takes the stand. His arrogance is palpable. This is all a setup. Jake's trying to frame me to save his own skin. I cross-examine him, my questions sharp. Isn't it true, Mark, that you have a history of blackmail and fraud? He squirms, trying to deflect. I don't know what you're talking about. I present the evidence. Financial records, messages, and recordings. The jury's eyes widen. Mark's facade crumbles. The judge calls for a recess. I step outside, taking a deep breath. My father joins me, his presence a steadying force. You're doing great, Jake. Keep pushing. I nod, feeling a renewed sense of determination. This trial isn't just about clearing my name. It's about justice. We return to the courtroom. The tension is palpable. I deliver my closing argument. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, this isn't just about a marital betrayal. It's about a man who used manipulation and deceit to destroy lives. I ask you to see the truth and deliver justice. The jury deliberates. The wait is excruciating. Finally, they return with their verdict. We find the defendant, Mark Thompson, guilty on all charges. Relief floods through me. The judge hands down a harsh sentence. Mark glares at me as he's led away, but I feel a weight lift off my shoulders. The nightmare is over, but the aftermath is bittersweet. Lisa is charged with conspiracy. The scandal affects my career, but I begin to restore my life. I take steps to rebuild my reputation, to mend relationships. My father stands by me, offering support and guidance. I focus on healing, on moving forward. The experience has changed me, but I'm stronger now. I confront Lisa one last time. We talk, seeking closure. I'm sorry, Jake, she says, her voice breaking. I never meant for any of this to happen. I nod, the pain's still there, but less intense. I know, Lisa, but we both need to move on. The confrontation brings a sense of finality. I focus on rebuilding my life, on finding peace. The journey has been tough, but I feel a renewed sense of purpose. As I reflect on the events that transpired, I realize the challenges I faced have made me stronger. I've learned valuable lessons about trust, resilience, and the importance of standing up for what's right. The story comes full circle as I find peace and closure. I hint at the possibilities of new beginnings, perhaps a new love, a fresh start in my career. The future is uncertain but filled with promise. The story concludes with a sense of hope and resilience, leaving the door open for new adventures and a brighter future. The tension hits its peak as I gather evidence to clear my name and protect my family. I work late into the nights, sifting through documents, recordings, and messages. Each piece of evidence is a step closer to exposing Mark and his manipulative schemes. The trial is imminent, and I know I must confront both Lisa and Mark in court. The courthouse looms large and foreboding as I arrive on the day of the trial. My heart pounds in my chest. I take a deep breath, trying to steady my nerves. This is it. I can't afford any mistakes. I walk through the hallways, feeling the weight of every gaze on me. Inside the courtroom, the atmosphere is thick with anticipation. Journalists, spectators, and colleagues fill the seats, their whispers creating a low hum. I spot my father sitting near the front, his presence a reassuring anchor. Lisa sits at the defense table, looking pale and frail. Her eyes avoid mine. I feel a pang of sympathy despite everything. Mark sits next to her, his face a mask of arrogance. He meets my gaze with a smirk, confident in his deceit. The judge enters, and the room falls silent. The trial begins with opening statements. The prosecution goes first, painting me as a neglectful husband whose personal life has spiraled out of control. They try to frame me as untrustworthy, hoping to undermine my credibility. When it's my turn, I stand and address the jury. Ladies and gentlemen, this case is about more than just a broken marriage. It's about a man's attempt to destroy my life through manipulation and deceit. I ask you to keep an open mind as I present the evidence. The prosecution calls their witnesses, each one adding to their narrative. I sit quietly taking notes, ready to counter every point. Then it's my turn to present my case. I call Lisa to the stand. She walks up slowly, her hands trembling. I ask her to recount her involvement with Mark. Her voice is shaky but determined. He blackmailed me. He threatened to ruin Jake if I didn't comply. I was scared and made terrible choices. Her testimony is powerful, and I see the jury's eyes widen. Next, I call Mark to the stand. He saunters up, his confidence unshaken. This is all a setup, he says smoothly. Jake's trying to frame me to save his own skin. I cross-examine him, my questions precise and sharp. Isn't it true, Mark, that you have a history of blackmail and fraud? He tries to deflect. I don't know what you're talking about. I present the documents, messages, and recordings linking him to the blackmail and financial fraud. The jury leans forward, riveted by the mounting evidence. Mark's facade starts to crack. The courtroom drama unfolds with intense cross-examinations and shocking revelations. I keep my composure, exposing the truth piece by piece. Despite the chaos, I find the strength to continue the fight. The trial reaches its climax as I deliver my closing argument. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, this isn't just about infidelity. It's about manipulation, blackmail, and a man's desperate attempt to destroy my life. I ask you to see the truth and deliver justice. The jury deliberates, and the wait is excruciating. I pace the hallways, my mind racing. Finally, they return with their verdict. We find the defendant, Mark Thompson, guilty on all charges. Relief floods through me. The judge hands down a harsh sentence, and I feel a weight lift off my shoulders. But the aftermath is bittersweet. Lisa is charged with conspiracy, and I must deal with the fallout of the trial on my career and personal life. Despite the legal victory, the damage to my reputation and personal life is significant. I start to rebuild, focusing on my career and mending relationships. My father's support is unwavering, and I draw strength from his presence. I spend long hours in my office, meticulously working to restore my professional standing. I reach out to clients, explaining the situation and reassuring them of my commitment. Slowly, trust is rebuilt. Colleagues who once whispered behind my back now offer support, impressed by my resilience. As the dust settles, I confront Lisa one last time. We meet in a quiet cafe, away from prying eyes. She looks tired, the weight of her actions visible on her face. "Jake, I'm so sorry," she says, her voice breaking. "I never meant for any of this to happen." I nod, the pain still there but less intense. "I know, Lisa, but we both need to move on." We talk for hours seeking closure. She admits her mistakes, and I express my pain and anger. It's a step towards healing, a necessary conversation to put the past behind us. The confrontation brings a sense of finality. I focus on rebuilding my life, on finding peace. The journey has been tough, but I feel a renewed sense of purpose. I start to see a glimmer of hope for the future. I throw myself into work, finding solace in the structure and demands of my cases. Each victory in the courtroom feels like a step towards reclaiming my life. I reconnect with friends, allowing myself to enjoy moments of laughter and camaraderie. As the weeks turn into months, I reflect on the events that transpired. The challenges I faced have made me stronger. I've learned valuable lessons about trust, resilience, and the importance of standing up for what's right. The story comes full circle as I find peace and closure. I hint at the possibilities of new beginnings, perhaps a new love, a fresh start in my career. The future is uncertain but filled with promise. The story concludes with a sense of hope and resilience, leaving the door open for new adventures and a brighter future. I stand in the courtroom, presenting my case with every ounce of conviction I possess. The air is charged with tension. Each word I utter feels like a battle, but I press on. I meticulously dismantle the opposition's arguments, piece by piece, exposing the truth behind Mark's schemes. The evidence I've gathered paints a damning picture. Lisa's involvement is undeniable, But the depth of her manipulation by Mark becomes clear as well. The judge listens intently, and the jury watches, their expressions shifting with each revelation. Mark sits stone-faced, his arrogance faltering as the weight of the evidence mounts. Lisa, pale and tear-streaked, seems to shrink in her seat, the reality of her actions sinking in. As the final pieces of evidence are laid out, I feel a mix of exhaustion and grim satisfaction. I've done everything I can. Now it's in the hands of the jury. They deliberate for hours, each minute stretching into eternity. I wait outside, my mind racing with possibilities. What if it's not enough? What if Mark somehow slips through the cracks? Finally, the jury returns. The room falls silent as the foreman stands. We find the defendant, Mark Thompson, guilty on all charges. A wave of relief washes over me. The judge sentences Mark to a lengthy prison term, his expression one of resigned anger. The gavel falls, signaling the end of the trial. I exhale deeply, feeling the weight of months of stress lift slightly. But the aftermath is bittersweet. Lisa is charged with conspiracy. Her trial is swift, and she's sentenced to a reduced term due to her cooperation and the evident manipulation by Mark. It's a harsh reality, but one we both have to face. Back in my office, I start taking steps to rebuild my reputation. I reach out to clients, explaining the situation and reassuring them of my commitment. Some are understanding, others wary. It's a slow process, but each small victory feels significant. My colleagues gradually stop whispering behind my back, and the support I receive is encouraging. My father stands by me throughout, offering his unwavering support. His presence is a constant reminder of resilience and strength. "You'll get through this, Jake," he says one evening as we sit on his porch. "You've already come so far." I nod, appreciating his faith in me. "Thanks, Dad. It means a lot." I throw myself into my work, finding solace in the routine and the demands of my cases. Each win in the courtroom feels like a step towards reclaiming my life. I reconnect with friends, allowing myself to enjoy moments of laughter and camaraderie. It's a slow process, but I can see progress. One day I decide to visit Lisa in prison. It's a difficult decision, but I need closure. When I arrive, she looks up at me with hollow eyes. "Jake," she whispers, her voice filled with regret. "Lisa," I reply, sitting down across from her. "We need to talk." We speak for hours, laying everything bare. She admits her mistakes, her voice breaking with each confession. I express my pain, my anger, but also my desire to move forward. It's a raw, emotional conversation, but it's necessary. By the end, there's a sense of finality. We both know this is the end of our journey together. As I leave the prison, I feel lighter. The confrontation brings a sense of closure, allowing me to truly focus on healing and rebuilding my life. The journey has been tough, but I feel a renewed sense of purpose. I start to see a glimmer of hope for the future. I continue to work hard, building my career back up from the ground. Each victory in the courtroom feels like a personal triumph. I start to see the respect return in my colleagues' eyes. I reconnect with friends, allowing myself to enjoy moments of laughter and camaraderie. One evening, as I sit on my porch, I reflect on the events that have transpired. The challenges I faced have made me stronger. I've learned valuable lessons about trust, resilience, and the importance of standing up for what's right. My relationship with my father deepens, his support a cornerstone of my recovery. I also begin to explore new relationships. It's tentative at first, but I find myself opening up to the possibility of love again. I meet someone new, someone who understands the complexities of life's challenges. It's a slow, cautious process, but there's potential for something real and lasting. As I rebuild my life, I focus on finding peace and closure. The story comes full circle, and I start to see the possibilities of new beginnings, perhaps a fresh start in my career or a new love. The future is uncertain, but it's filled with promise. I look out over the city feeling a sense of hope and resilience. The experiences I've been through have shaped me, but they haven't broken me. I'm stronger now, more determined to live a fulfilling life. The door is open for new adventures and a brighter future. The story concludes with a sense of hope, resilience, and a hint of what's to come. The journey has been challenging, but I'm ready for whatever comes next. I'm determined to make the most of the opportunities ahead, to live a life filled with purpose and fulfillment. I decide to confront Lisa one last time, needing closure to move forward. I drive to the prison where she's serving her sentence. The building looms ahead, cold and unwelcoming. My stomach knots as I step inside. The sterile smell of antiseptic fills the air, a stark contrast to the chaotic emotions swirling within me. Lisa is brought into the visitation room. She looks smaller, more fragile. Her once vibrant eyes are now dull, shadowed with regret and exhaustion. She sits across from me, her hands trembling slightly. "Jake," she begins, her voice barely above a whisper. "I didn't think you'd come." "I needed to," I say, my tone firm. "We need to talk, to finally put everything out in the open." She nods, tears welling up in her eyes. "I'm so sorry for everything. I never meant for things to go this far. I was weak, and Mark, he manipulated me." I take a deep breath, trying to keep my emotions in check. "Lisa, I need to understand why. Why did you let him control you? Why did you betray me like that?" Her shoulders slump as she looks down, tears falling onto the table. "I was scared, Jake. He threatened me, said he would ruin you if I didn't do what he wanted. I thought I could handle it, that I could protect you by going along with his demands. But I was wrong, so wrong." Her admission is like a dagger to my heart, twisting painfully. "You should have come to me. We could have faced it together." "I know," she sobs. "I was weak. I made terrible choices. I didn't want to lose you, but I ended up destroying everything instead." I sit in silence, the weight of her words pressing down on me. The anger and betrayal I've felt for so long start to give way to a deep, aching sadness. "I loved you, Lisa. I trusted you with everything." She looks up, her eyes pleading. "I know, and I betrayed that trust. I don't expect you to forgive me, but I need you to know how sorry I am. I regret every single moment that led us here." The raw honesty in her voice tugs at something deep inside me. I take another deep breath, feeling the tension slowly begin to ease. "Lisa, I can't forget what happened, but maybe someday I can forgive. We both need to move on from this, to find some semblance of peace." She nods, wiping her tears. "Thank you, Jake. That means more than you know." The confrontation brings a sense of finality, a closure that I didn't realize I needed so badly. As I leave the prison, I feel lighter, as if a heavy burden has been lifted from my shoulders. I focus on healing and rebuilding my life, channeling my energy into my work and personal growth. The lessons I've learned from this ordeal have changed me, but I'm stronger now, more resilient. I take steps to restore my reputation, reaching out to clients and colleagues, mending professional relationships one by one. My father remains a steadfast source of support. His unwavering belief in me helps bolster my confidence as I navigate this new chapter. "You've been through hell, Jake," he says one evening as we share a quiet dinner, "but you've come out the other side stronger. I'm proud of you." "Thanks, Dad," I reply, feeling a genuine sense of gratitude. "I couldn't have done it without you." As I rebuild my career, I also begin to explore new relationships. It's a cautious process, but I allow myself to open up to the possibility of love again. I meet someone who understands the complexities of life's challenges, someone who sees me for who I am, not just what I've been through. We start slow, getting to know each other over coffee and dinners. Her name is Emma, and she's kind, intelligent, and compassionate. Our conversations are filled with honesty and vulnerability, and I find myself looking forward to our time together. There's a connection there, something real and meaningful. One evening, as we sit on my porch watching the sunset, Emma turns to me, her eyes filled with warmth. "Jake, I know you've been through a lot, but I want you to know that I'm here for you, no matter what." I smile, feeling a sense of contentment I haven't felt in a long time. "Thanks, Emma. That means a lot." Our relationship grows, and I find myself healing in ways I didn't think possible. Emma's presence brings a sense of hope and renewal, and I start to see a brighter future ahead. As I continue to rebuild my life, I also focus on giving back. I volunteer at a legal aid clinic, helping those who can't afford representation. It's a way to use my skills to make a positive impact, and it brings a sense of fulfillment that's been missing. The challenges I've faced have taught me invaluable lessons about resilience, forgiveness, and the importance of standing up for what's right. I'm more determined than ever to live a fulfilling life, to embrace new opportunities and adventures. The experience has changed me, but in many ways it's for the better. I'm more grounded, more aware of my strengths and vulnerabilities. I've learned to value the people who stand by me, to cherish the moments of genuine connection and support. As I reflect on the events that have transpired, I find peace and closure. The journey has been tough, but it's also been a path to growth and self-discovery. I look towards the future with optimism, ready to embrace whatever comes next. The story comes full circle, leaving the door open for new beginnings and a brighter future. I'm ready to make the most of the opportunities ahead, to live a life filled with purpose, love, and fulfillment. The confrontation with Lisa, the rebuilding of my career, and the new relationship with Emma all signify the end of one chapter and the beginning of another. I've completed my journey through betrayal and pain, emerging stronger and more determined to live my best life. The sense of closure and finality brings peace, but it also brings a renewed sense of purpose. I'm ready to face the future, to embrace new adventures and possibilities. The experiences I've been through have shaped me, but they haven't defined me. I'm more than the sum of my past mistakes and challenges. I'm a survivor, a fighter, and someone who's ready to live life to the fullest. As I look out over the horizon, I feel a sense of hope and resilience. The future is uncertain, but it's filled with promise. I'm ready for whatever comes next, ready to embrace new adventures and live a life filled with purpose and fulfillment. As I sit on my porch, sipping a cold beer, I reflect on everything that has happened. The last year has been a whirlwind of betrayal, heartbreak, and legal battles. But as the sun sets, painting the sky with hues of orange and pink, I feel a sense of peace I haven't felt in a long time. The journey started with that awful night, stumbling into my house and seeing my dad's grim expression. The video of Lisa with those men shattered my world. The pain was raw and intense, but it set me on a path of discovery and ultimately growth. I think back to the trial, the tension in the courtroom, the weight of every word spoken, presenting my case, dismantling the opposition's arguments, exposing Mark for the manipulative bastard he was. Each step was a battle, but it was a fight worth fighting. The verdict was a turning point, a moment where justice prevailed, but it came with a bittersweet aftertaste. Lisa's role in the scandal was made clear, and she was charged, leaving both of us to deal with the consequences. Rebuilding my life wasn't easy. My reputation took a hit, and I had to work hard to regain trust. My clients, colleagues, and even friends needed reassurance. My father was my rock, his unwavering support a beacon of strength. His belief in me never wavered, and it kept me going during the darkest times. Through it all, I found solace in my work. Each case I took on, each victory in the courtroom, was a step towards reclaiming my life. I threw myself into my profession, but I also took the time to reconnect with friends, to enjoy the simple pleasures of life that I had overlooked in the chaos. One of the most significant moments was confronting Lisa for the last time. Sitting across from her in the prison visitation room, I felt a mixture of anger and sadness. Her admission of guilt, her apologies, they brought closure. We both needed to move on, and that conversation was the key to unlocking the future. Meeting Emma was unexpected but welcomed. Our relationship grew slowly, built on trust and understanding. She saw me for who I was, not just the man who had been through a scandal. Emma's compassion and intelligence drew me in, and our connection deepened with each passing day. With her, I felt a sense of renewal, a hope for a brighter future. I also found fulfillment in giving back. Volunteering at a legal aid clinic allowed me to use my skills to help those in need. It was a way to make a positive impact, to give meaning to the struggles I had faced. The work was rewarding, and it reminded me why I became a lawyer in the first place. As I sit here now, the cool evening breeze ruffling my hair, I realize how much I've grown. The challenges I faced were immense, but they shaped me into a stronger, more resilient person. I've learned the importance of trust, the value of resilience, and the need to stand up for what's right. My relationship with my father has deepened. We share more than just beers on the porch. We share a bond forged through adversity. His wisdom and support have been invaluable, and I'm grateful for every moment we've spent together. Looking ahead, I see a future filled with promise. There's potential for new beginnings, both in my career and in my personal life. Emma and I talk about the future, about the possibilities that lie ahead. There's excitement in the uncertainty, a sense of adventure in the unknown. I know there will be challenges, but I'm ready to face them. The experiences I've been through have equipped me with the strength and determination to handle whatever comes my way. I'm more than the sum of my past mistakes and challenges. I'm a survivor, a fighter, and someone who's ready to live life to the fullest. As the stars begin to dot the night sky, I feel a sense of closure. The story of betrayal and pain has come full circle, leading to growth and renewal. I'm ready to embrace the future, to open the door to new adventures and opportunities. The past will always be a part of me, but it doesn't define me. I'm stronger now, ready to live a life filled with purpose and fulfillment. The journey has been tough, but it has also been a path to self-discovery. I've learned to value the people who stand by me, to cherish moments of genuine connection and support. The future is uncertain, but it's filled with promise. I'm ready to make the most of the opportunities ahead, to live a life filled with purpose, love, and fulfillment.